Right. Still figuring stuff out here. But we're getting there. Getting better. New Paragon. Now 8 glyph. Pretty advanced. Oh, nice bug here. So let's see, do I have everything correct now? Damage. Speed. Damage. Yes, good. That is correct. That is what I'm trying right now. This is max. This is good. Okay, this is all correct as far as I can see. So let's give it some testing here. Gotta remove some stuff. Actually, I don't. So... Not using stuff right now, no. Because we want to be immortal. We want to be immortal. And my gear's not good enough for that yet, but I'm gonna try it anyway. Oh wait, I need the elixir here. I'm missing one breakpoint. Am I actually missing one breakpoint? Let's see, I have 48.8. Yes, I am. So I decided to go for the 63 breakpoint here. I guess I can go for 100. I think tier 100 will be possible. Oh, that wasn't very smart. Wait, did I respec lightning spears correctly? Yes, I did. Okay, weird. Those guys shouldn't attack me. I think tier 100 and a little more is even possible. I guess as soon as you reach like the permanent flame shield status, you can comfortably say... It depends how rough the trash gets. You might have to switch to avalanche, shatter for trash. Which is an option. Because it won't really hurt the boss fight too much. I mean, it's gonna be 15% damage. Well, obviously you're gonna die, like you gotta be complete glass cannon. Like that's the whole point. Like tier 100 you also need to get a good boss. Like if you get a double HP boss on tier 100, like you... Like goodbye. But the damage here is pretty decent. So basically I'm playing charged glyph now, so I want to really try if I can keep up charged with just teleport on boss. Because right now I'm playing Flame Shield, Firebolt enchantment, which is pretty relaxed if you're like doing the dungeon, because it like just gives you like so much more crit damage. And it really gets you like through the dungeon significantly faster. But if I cannot get charge buff up with just teleport, I will have to go to like Chain Lightning enchantment. I'm running at the 63% attack speed breakpoint right now. 63 is breakpoint. The next higher is not reachable with playing Talrasha Ring, unfortunately. I mean, it is possible if you triple crit attack speed twice. But, you know, so with regular gear, let's just put it like that, it's not possible to reach that breakpoint. Wait, that was like messed up. Retry here. Okay, I'm pressing the wrong button. So I've charged up, I guess. Guess it works. A little complicated though. It's hard to not forget teleporting once in a while. No, nothing will... No. If they nerf it, they will nerf Hectic. So, which is, I guess, okay, because Hectic is too strong. But I don't think they're gonna nerf Flame Shield duration, honestly. I probably think they're gonna nerf the other build. Is it important? Do you have Shaco? I mean, you can start playing the build. Like, it's not gonna kill you. You gotta invest 2 extra skill points. So, it's not gonna kill you. So you lose, like, you know, 5% damage or some stagger, whatever, like, depends on what state you are in. So, I mean, you can definitely play it. It's not, like, a hard requirement. I mean, you can push through these dungeons super quickly with this. If you're playing Firebolt enchantment, it, like, really, really helps. It's like, such a huge difference. They will probably nerf, I mean, I have a feeling they will nerf Hectic, but I don't know. But probably, you know, probably they're not gonna do any balancing until middle of the season anyway, so... I don't know, you can just take them from whatever, like those stagger skills. Doesn't really matter, honestly. Like whatever it's called. Frost K, what is it called? I don't even know what it's called. Like the stuff which does stagger, basically, you can remove. I will do once I figured out the build, which I did not do yet, so... There's like a lot of new things I have to try out since vulnerable damage, like since I realized basically that vulnerable damage is not working. Well, I mean, it's working, but it's working in a different way. So I have to basically change everything here. It's not like an easy fix. This damage is actually pretty rough with this 8 glyph setup. Okay, what am I doing now? Nice. Perfect timing there again. Super hard to see if I get the charged or not. Actually pretty annoying. I think just because it's being annoying, I want to remove it, honestly. I don't want to teleport. It's like completely out of the flow, basically. I'm gonna switch this. This makes no sense. Teleporting in the boss fight is really stupid. Just, it just takes too many cooldowns. Oh, come on. This is messed up. To fix this. Yeah, I think it will not trigger damage too close, actually, if the orb's going through. Which I think is, like, an issue where I'm, like, doing, like, very good damage since I have, like, damage too close. I cannot see these. I have to switch up the goddamn numbers. It's, like, literally so retarded. And then... Okay. Gotta remove this bullshit here. It's not gonna work. It's a completely different story. Damage to frozen is frozen, and damage to cold is... And cold damage is cold damage, so it's like... The one is just to frozen stuff, and the other one is cold damage. So let's change this. Change to Chain Lightning enchantment. Let's go for this. Is it the correct one? No. Try again. Fire Sorc? Well, yeah, Firebolt. You can play Firebolt. But, you know, do yourself a favor and don't play Fire Sorc. Just probably, like, go Blizzard. The numbers are not higher on cold damage. Damage to frozen has, like, double the damage. But, you know, you're, like, again, you're comparing different things. So... What you're comparing is the lower level build, which just does damage to stagger. So the low build is not the build for pushing. It's the build for farming. So if you kill a boss within 3 stagger phases, damage to frozen is actually a very strong multiplier because it's the highest multiplier and it's going to be active all the time during stagger. And cold damage is just half of it, basically. I mean, it's not half. I think it's like... I think damage to frozen is 100% and cold damage is like 60% or something like that. So it's like just wrong, like the numbers are way lower on cold damage. But again, recent discoveries with the whole vulnerable story basically means vulnerable damage is the best additive stat you can get. Well, the best is critical strike damage. But you're not gonna able to temper critical strike damage unless you're like using exploits. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. Again, I had that build. It's a farming build. It's not a pushing build. So there's absolutely nothing wrong with it, but you're gonna lose significant speed in the dungeon, which you can see right now. I mean, I'm not playing Firebolt enchantment right now. But my damage is so high that I'm okay in the dungeon. But again, for most players, Firebolt enchantment will be the best because it gives you the fastest clear speed through the dungeon, which is best for farming. So really, you always gotta put into perspective what you're playing. There's no best option most of the time. There's just different options which have different strengths and weaknesses. So Firebolt enchantment is very, very strong when clearing the dungeon. Is it a waste when playing the bosses? Yes, absolutely. But, you know, if you kill the boss within 3 stagger phases, it's not gonna matter. If you're, like, pushing, Firebolt enchantment on a boss is obviously a huge waste, because you're losing an enchantment slot. I mean, it's not entirely using an enchantment slot, because Firebolt enchantment actually does quite decent damage. But, you know, it's obviously not extremely strong. The lightning rods. Lightning rod of doom. That skill, I just gotta remove that goddamn lightning rod. It's like absolutely terrible, that skill. Like, it literally hits you from everywhere. But I really think also the damage to close is not triggering when the orbs fly through the mob. But, so on regular mobs you can get around it by targeting the ground next to the mob, but it doesn't work for bosses, unfortunately. You cannot target the ground next to this boss. Oh, wow. Playing Crackling Energy for 15% damage from Charge Glyph. No, close damage is extremely close. I tested it. Like, you literally have to be next to, you have, like, to be very, very close to the target. And, I mean, it seems like with the Frozen Orb, I mean, I cannot verify or deny that. That's gonna be, like, extremely hard to test, basically. If you need to be, like, if it counts that you have to be next to the boss, or the explosion of the Frozen Orb has to be next to the boss, the projectile, it's like, you know, it's all unknown. You, like, literally cannot know. But it's like super annoying. With the, if you like click on the boss, which is right in front of you, the Frozen Orb just passes through the boss and explodes like behind him. I mean, it still hits him, it still does the damage, but I also think it's not gonna trigger damage too close. Because that's why you sometimes have like this weird damage or like not damage spikes, basically. Hitting the boss or not hitting the boss properly was closed. I really think it has to do with that. I mean, Chain Lightning enchantment is obviously a huge waste. And I was really trying to fix it with like the teleport Crackling Energy thing. But it just breaks the flow of the boss fight if you have to teleport. It is really, I don't know, it doesn't feel good to do it. And also there's not really very good enchantments you can pick anyway. So, I mean, I tried with the Ice Blades enchantment. It doesn't seem to matter a whole lot. You're gonna get enough Ice Blades anyway. And I think there's like a limit between 6 and 9. I cannot verify the limit, unfortunately. I tried. I mean, there is a limit of... so here's the strange thing, right? If you just use Ice Blades, there's actually a limit of 3 Ice Blades. If you use Ice Blades enchant, there's a limit of 6. But if you don't use Ice Blades enchant and Winter Glass, there's also a limit of 6. So it seems like the Winter Glass has its own 3 Ice Blades. But then if you play Ice Blades enchant and Winter Glass, I don't know if it goes up to 9. Because it's like literally impossible to count these. And it should just say how many Ice Blades you have. Or it should just say what the limits are. But there is definitely a limit, so I have the suspicion there that Ice Blades enchant is basically doing nothing. Yeah, the breakpoints are different for two-hand. Or, yeah, you mean the numbers? Yeah, they could also be completely different. I don't think the actual attack speed values have to be the same for the breakpoints, because it's like based on the in-game frames and not on the attack speed. So the breakpoints can be completely different for like literally every skill with one hand and two hand will have completely different breakpoints. So you basically have to calculate every single breakpoint for every single skill manually. So it's sea level 85. Yeah, it should have a little counter. That would be awesome. Or they should just say you what the goddamn max is. That would also be like working for me. Okay, so it's definitely not possible to target the ground next to this den mother here. But now I'm doing the higher damage while I'm standing in the boss. So basically, I think with close and bosses, like you literally need to stand inside of the boss model. It's at least my feeling there, that it's like, if I try it any other way, it's just not working. But it also might be like, just a feeling that it's completely wrong. I just cannot verify any of these. Oh, where's the goddamn boss? Ah! You can... I think you cannot reach 75% cooldown reduction. So... like, I think it's technically not possible. And if you could reach it, probably if you have greater ethics and perfect roll on literally every item, I think that would be the condition there to reach that. I don't even know how many ice blades you have to cast. It's like so difficult. But I mean, that goes pretty fast for like an 85 boss, actually. No, I'm not running Lightning Spear enchant. I'm just running the Crackling Energy to get 15% damage from Charge Glyph. Lightning Spear enchant is unfortunately unplayable in any build. Because the Crackling Energy just has a maximum. And that's why you can basically not play it. So again, I just said it. There's a limit of 6 Ice Blades. But I think and there's 3 from the Winter Glass. At least, you know, if you don't play Ice Blades enchantment, the Winter Glass basically gives you an extra 3. But again, it's impossible for me to verify if it can get more or not, because it's literally impossible to count those. Like, I tried for like 15 minutes, and I was like recording and going frame by frame, and it's absolutely impossible to count them. There's just way too much vision, like it's impossible to see them. There's too many frozen orb explosions. Even if you go into like low whatever it's called, low details mode or something like that, you just can't count them. It's not. The problem with the Crackling Energy is, so Lightning Spear enchant would be super amazing if goddamn Crackling Energy wouldn't be limited. Because can only be like 30 Crackling Energy on the ground, and then they start despawning. And that basically means, you know, it's just randomly spawning everywhere, but you cannot really take any advantage out of it, because it just, you know, it keeps despawning before you can pick it up. And the radius on pickup on the Crackling Energy is also way, way too low. Frigit Fate multiplies with your vulnerable damage, and it's a 30% for 9 points investment. So it basically costs like 9 points, and it gives you 30% extra vulnerable damage. And you have like 120 to 150, so it actually gives you like a good amount of additive damage. I can show you after this run if I switch it on and off. I think it gives me like 80 or 90% damage. And I have no vulnerable damage on gear. So if you would have vulnerable damage on gear, it would probably give you like somewhere around 200% additive damage. You know, which still comes down to like a decent amount of extra damage for like 9 invested points. Always tormented. Tormented has 5 times the drop chance. I think I'm lagging like crazy. Yeah. Where am I? So I gotta double check with this whole Conjuration story. I really don't know if spamming Ice Blades is the way to go or not. Right. Because now I just have like 10 conjurations and, you know, sometimes I reach like 11 or 14. I guess it depends if I'm spamming or not. But maybe it is not even... You know, it doesn't really look like I'm getting a whole lot more than 10 or 11 in this setup. And with the Ice Blades... Oh, I got 14 now. But I basically have to benchmark this against the Ice Blades enchantment. If I'm actually getting more conjurations out of the Ice Blades enchantment or not. So again, the vulnerable damage is actually not bad. I mean, I can show you like how good it actually is. If you look at the stats, right? So here's my vulnerable damage, right? I have 266 vulnerable damage, right? So now if I take out the glyph, so I take out this Frigit Fate now, right? And now I go to 181. So this basically at this point gives me 80% additive damage, and that is it. It doesn't multiply or anything, okay? So it just basically gives you additive damage. And if you put it back on, obviously this is like nowhere near 30% multiplier, right? So this really just damages your vulnerable, it just multiplies your vulnerable damage. That is really it. But if you get nice vulnerable damage rolls on your gear, like I have garbage damage to close rolls and, you know, damage rolls. But if you get vulnerable damage, it's actually 50% more, right? So you get 60% vulnerable damage, so that's basically 90. So that makes it the best additive stat you can roll after crit damage. So crit damage is basically the best stat you can roll because it basically gets 100% boost on crit. So you have 490, right? And this is with the 50%. And then you have Devouring Blaze giving you another 30, so you get to like 700. So crit damage is technically the best you can get. Since I understand the calculation of crit now correctly, that it doesn't multiply. So crit also doesn't multiply your damage, right? It's not true. So I know everybody says it, but it's just wrong. So what crit does is crit takes all your critical strike damage and multiplies it with 50%. It doesn't multiply all your damage with 50%. It just multiplies your critical strike damage with 50%. And then it adds it as regular additive damage. That's why it also say you have 239 or 293 damage from Paragon, but it shows 490% because it adds 50% for whatever reason, right? And So it takes 293 times 50%, which is, what is it, 145? So 293 plus 145 is basically like 440, right? And then it adds the 50% on top of it, and you get 490. So it's literally no multiplier. So how do you have 800% vulnerable damage? Well, you're playing Swell, right? So I want to check Ice Blade's enchant against... if I get more conjurations. Like, it's really got to be one of those. Well, the conjuration damage doesn't matter, but I still use the elemental summoner node for like 10% reduced cooldown. But, I mean, the conjurations do okay damage, but honestly, it's like, it is still, like, you can pretty much ignore it in the end. Like, the lightning guys are just retarded, like, really, they should just be removed from the game. They cannot be CC'd, it's like so annoying. I don't even want to deal with them, I should just skip all lightning guys, honestly. I mean, I think you get more conjurations with the Ice Blades enchant, definitely. So I just gotta assume there's like a limit of 9. I think the Winter Glass gives you 6. The Winter Glass gives you 3, and 6 is the regular limit on Ice Blades. Because the regular limit on Ice Blades you can definitely check at the dummies. If you just use Ice Blades enchant, and you go for the dummies, and don't use like Frozen Orb or anything, you can definitely see that you cannot get more than 6. The Conjuration Master will never go above 6. So it is kind of depressing. I don't get why there's a limit on all Sorc skills, basically. Like, why is there a limit on Ice Blades active? Like, you're destroying everything cool. Where's the crackling energy coming from? Is it from teleport? Ah, it's from teleport. No, it can't be from teleport. Wait, what? How am I getting crackling energy? I'm confused. Yeah, probably Lightning Spear has a limit as well, honestly. You probably just don't notice it. Where's the crackling energy coming from? I don't get it. Now it's gone. What generates crackling energy? Unstable currents can generate chain lightnings when I hit teleport. I got it. You cannot go infinite because you have cooldowns. They only last for 6 seconds. So you could really get like 10 or 12 active maybe, but I don't think you can go infinite. I mean, the cooldown is already pretty close to the frame rate if you like get to the very high end. But again, if there's a limit of 6 or 9, which is like impossible for me to find out. So I don't know if I'm wasting my damage, if I'm spamming too many Ice Blades or not, basically. I would really like to know if it's 6 or 9. I don't think they did. It's probably just because you got so many lightning spears. Nice, I can't see my Conjuration Mastery sticks. Oh, there they are. I hate this Hive Master. So if I'm perma-spamming Ice Blades, I get to like around... Oh, that was too early. I pressed my Flame Shield there. So I'm getting like at 14. I'm like stabilizing at like 14. This boss is definitely the worst of all. Just cannot stand in the middle because there's like the tornadoes everywhere. I wish I had permanent flame shield already. Dealing with this boss is really a pain. It doesn't matter because there's a limit on Ice Blades. You can spam them how much you want. The question is how many Ice Blades do you actually get, because I was thinking on putting actually Lightning Spear on the bar. You have to hit Conjuration Mastery just once. I have no life. I have like 14k life or so. Oh, nice. Crit ring. Can I get some upgrades? Ah, damn it. Upgrading is like so expensive. It's not even funny. I wonder if I should just blast here like 75s or so. Yeah, you're not supposed to get hit by pit bosses. Like, that is normal that you get one shot. You basically have two choices, right? So either you build so you build so much damage that you can kill the boss within 3 stagger phases, and then it literally never attacks. If you can't do that, you gotta dodge. But I would recommend getting lower tiers until you kill the boss within 3 stagger phases. Because that boss is really gonna one-shot you. I mean, not every attack of a boss is gonna one-shot you. Obviously, you still need to get armor cap, or at least close to armor cap. But, I mean, a lot of boss abilities can one-shot you. Like, the clone guys one-shot you anyway. Like, the snakes here one-shot you, and it doesn't even matter if they're elite or not. Like, they will one-shot you once they touch you in the higher tiers anyway, no matter how much defense you build. Like, it doesn't even matter. I wonder what builds the crackling energy. Is it really just the lightning spears from unstable currents? Yeah, it has to be, right? I just want to see if, like, Ice Blades enchant is better, but I just keep getting destroyed by unstoppable snakes and vampires. I mean, right now I'm using like a dead glyph, which is basically charge glyph. Maybe I should just switch the charge glyph for what is it called? Elemental Summoner or whatever? No, Enchanter. Why would there be patch notes? What? White Pit is great design. That's exactly the design you want in a game like this. This is exactly what you want. You want brain AFK farming. You want to be able to adjust the tiers to your power level so you get more and more materials. This is actually perfect design. If the bosses wouldn't be so retarded, this would be like the best design Blizzard has made in like 10 years. Like this is exactly what you want. If you want to play Tomb Raider, go play Tomb Raider. But if you want to play an ARPG and grind, then this is exactly what you want to do. So I really cannot understand how people don't like this. This is exactly the same like D3 Rift. It's just a little bit different in the balancing. It's brand new content, like, just give it some time. I wonder where the crackling energy is coming from. I'm so confused. It cannot be just from this one little teleport. I have a suspicion here. So I have a suspicion. I think the lightning spears from the winter glass are triggering unstable currents. Which is actually pretty cool. I think it's a bug though, because Blizzard said that's not gonna happen. But it actually looks like it, because I have no clue where else the crackling energy would come from. Because I literally have nothing which can generate this. No, I think the lightning spears cast by the winter glass are triggering unstable currents. Because so look, I have chain lightning, right? I have destructive chain lightning. And I have nothing else which can generate crackling energy. Like, literally, there's nothing. I only have destructive chain lightning. Lightning spear cannot generate crackling energy. I don't have static discharge. And unstable currents does not generate crackling energy. So Verse Mastery is not gonna... So basically what happens is the unstable currents cast lightning spears, and those lightning spears seem to be putting crackling energy, which is actually extremely good for my build, because I don't need to invest into crackling energy. Yeah, it should, but it shouldn't proc it because it's not self-cast. Because they said only self-cast skills would proc unstable currents, but, you know, the lightning spear is basically cast by the winter glass, right? So it shouldn't. It should technically, I think, not proc unstable currents. I think it's a bug. But I just want to verify that it's really not the teleport. But there was way too many for it being teleport, I think. But let me just remove this. Because it might actually be the teleport. Right, let's see. Okay, so I guess it is a teleport. But that's like so many crackling energies just from like this little teleport. Yeah, just for charge glyph. Because really I need damage. And I cannot find any damage anywhere. But I think using teleport to activate lightning spears from unstable currents is a pretty bad decision. But it's funny, how is there like so many crackling energies? I don't even understand where they come from. Where's like all those chain lightnings coming from? Like something weird is going on. Like, one chain lightning cannot do all these crackling energies, right? So it's like... So one Chain Lightning is supposed to... So if one Chain Lightning crits, it's supposed to have a 30% chance to spawn one. But it didn't even bounce. Why is my Chain Lightning not bouncing? What did I do wrong? What? Look at this, it's not even bouncing. Is it like a visual bug? Do I have to change to elite training dummies? Okay, let's try again. Okay, now it's bouncing. So look, it creates one, right? Makes sense. There's one, there's another one. You know, there's a couple here and there. But here's the strange thing now, right? So now, if I totally don't understand what's happening. So if I activate Unstable Currents, right? So it says whenever you cast a shock skill, right? So I only have like teleport, right? So I do teleport. And there's no Chain Lightning, no Crackling Energy. I do a teleport again. Oh, I forgot Unstable Currents actually. So... Alright, Unstable Currents, right? Teleport. Just do some Ice Blades here. Another one. No Crackling. Like, where did the 1 million Crackling Energies come from? I don't understand. Like, there was like 15 Chain Lightnings, but I didn't spam any lightning skills. Like, I gotta find out what this is. Like, something strange is going on here. Okay. So, let me just... Right, so let's spam again, right? I'm spamming. Not using teleport, yet now using one teleport. Now using another one. Okay, this time I get none. Right. Wait for Unstable Currents. Again. There is. Look at that. Where are they coming from? I don't get it. Like this, it is like I'm casting like 15 Chain Lightnings at a time. Like there's something weird going on with this, alright? So look again, I just hit Unstable Currents, right? And I spam. And I hit teleport. And as soon as my teleport basically casts a Chain Lightning, look, I get like a gazillion Crackling Energies. No, the Crackling Energy passive from crits literally doesn't work at all. Like, I don't have it. Yeah, it is from the Chain Lightning. But the strange thing is, it looks like... So either the Unstable Currents cast like 15 Chain Lightnings at once, right? Or like, I don't even know. Because, look, if you cast a regular Chain Lightning, right? Like, look how many... wrong skill. Look how many Crackling it does. Like, it does like 1 or 2 maybe per Chain Lightning. Why is it doing so many? It has something to do with the Frozen Orb. Where are they all coming from? So look, this is regular. You get like 1 or 2, right? I do another one. Do another one. Look, you just get like a couple, right? That's normal. It's normal Chain Lightning. And now if I cast Frozen Orbs and Chain Lightning at the same time, I seem to get like a lot. It's really, really strange. I don't know what's causing this. So this is definitely too many Crackling Energies. Okay, anyway, it doesn't change anything. Because I still can't really rely on Charge Glyph, unfortunately. Where is it? It would be nice, but it's just not... At least at the current state, I cannot really use it. So I'm just gonna go for Enchanter, which is just giving me like some additive damages, so at least I get something out of this board, right? Because I don't really have any glyphs I can use, unfortunately. Like, I'm running out of usable glyphs, basically. It's like the state is where you don't have any more glyphs you can use. Like, so terrible. I don't know. It's definitely weird. Because I literally, you know, if I do it with unstable currents and teleport, like, literally at some point they're just like 15 crackling energies or more, even like 25 crackling energies appear, and it just doesn't make any sense to me. But anyway, let's remove this. So what do we want to do with these 3 little points? I don't even know. I mean, you know, I'm just gonna put static discharge on now to show that it doesn't work, because static discharge would be a good way to fix crackling energy. Unfortunately, it doesn't work. I don't know. I'm still not having this build even remotely working. I'm like absolutely missing 1.5 seconds, and I basically just, oh, god damn it. This game. Let me out. So I can't even port out of this goddamn rift. And I can't change skills. Can I change skills? No. I don't get why you wouldn't be allowed to change skills in this. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me, but, you know. You don't want to play this build in hardcore. I would highly not recommend you do that. What was I gonna do? Put Frozen Orb again and put Unstable Currents. That sounds like a good plan. I wonder if the... By the way, I never tested if this counts for charged. But I don't think it does, actually. Yeah, no, the glyph is just too bad. Like, literally, it has no effect. And the Elemental Summoner giving me 100% additive, it's almost like 7%. Pretty much the same amount, honestly. So, ideally, you want to do this with charge, but you gotta find some way to fix the crackling energy. I mean, you can definitely do it with teleport, but it's completely getting me out of the flow. It would probably work with putting Lightning Spear on the bar. So if you would put... But I don't... So the question here is, can Winterglass spawn 6 Ice Blades by itself? Because you do 3 Frozen Orbs a second, right? So technically you would do 1 Ice Blade per second. So technically you wouldn't have to self-cast Ice Blades, maybe. And then you could actually self-cast Lightning Spear. That's another thing I want to test there. Because if you would self-cast Lightning Spear during Unstable Currents, it could also trigger the Chain Lightning to give you crackling energy. But then again, you need 1 crackling energy every 5 seconds, so I think it's not gonna work. I don't even know what Icy Veil is, honestly. But probably not. What helps with permanent flame shield is cooldown reduction, and I don't have enough. There's basically 2 ways, right? The one is cooldown reduction, and the other one is flame shield duration. And you can get both to a very high amount. Again, I'm not there yet. My items are not fully masterworked. I have the attack speed frames for Wand and Focus. Yeah, they're in the description of this video. It is possible without basic. It's absolutely no problem. Like, I'm really just a tiny bit away from it. And, you know, I can get 20% extra cooldown reduction, so it is absolutely no problem. Like, really. I am still missing 5 tempers on my armor pieces with flame shield duration. One of my flame shield duration rolls is min roll. I'm missing +1 flame shield from my armor, maybe even +2, I'm not sure. And I'm missing like 20% cooldown reduction, so it's absolutely possible. Well, attack power just gets scaled by unconditional modifiers, right? So if you have vulnerable damage, it doesn't scale your attack power. If you have, you know, damage to close, it doesn't scale your attack power. Only unconditional ones, like damage, will scale it. So that's why it's not really a reliable stat. Why am I attacking so goddamn slow? Why do I die while having Flame Shield active? And why do I always get Hive Master? And why are my gears broken again? What is with this game? You don't need to be aware of your cooldown, you just need the cooldown reduction, and I don't have it. So it doesn't help me being aware of it, I'm just missing like a second there. And because I don't want to move, like as soon as you have to move and, you know, go away to wait for your flame shield to come back up, you know, the build is not working. Because this is just a goddamn tier 85. And if you want to go to like 100, like if you move just 1 second, like your flow is completely gonna be broken. Like all your damage is gonna be gone. Like you're gonna lose the 20% from the inner calm aspect and stuff like that. So you really cannot move basically in this. Which technically, you know, again, as you can see, I'm missing like half a second most of the time. But as soon as you have to do this once, right, you're not gonna get back into ever having the cooldown back again. And that's a huge problem, and especially with this boss, because this boss you really cannot deal with without moving away if you don't have like the whole infinite flame shield story. Look like how rarely I get the crackling energy. So here's the problem now with this boss, right? So I cannot even have like half a second downtime because there's like a deadly tornado in the middle, right? Which I cannot dodge. So that's just horrible for this 1 second flame shield missing. And as you can see, like I'm really like just missing like a very low amount there. It is literally not even half a second. But that half a second is exactly the half a second where stuff's gonna hit you, right? So no, barrier duration doesn't affect Flame Shield. Flame Shield is not a barrier. No, it doesn't. Flame Shield is not affected by Icy Veil. I already have conceded. The only damage aspect left is unfortunately Inner Calm, because there is no other ones. Again, this is not... It's like, see, it's like 4.8. 4.8. It's really not a barrier. I only have like 41% cooldown reduction, which is absolutely horrible. So let's update this one once more, right? So this has 28.3. Let's see what we get. Maybe I can crit it a third time. Ah, worst possible. Wait, wasn't it 28.3 before? Did it literally not change? Wow. Yeah, exactly. I have 4.8 second flame shield because I'm missing +1 skills from this one here. And again, I'm like very, very close, right? You can see I'm really just missing like a fraction there. But again, my cooldown reduction is just 40%. So really, it's not an issue of getting it because you know I'm using this old Tal Rasha ring here, which just has 9.9%. So this is not good. I already have a different one, but you know I have to get the resources to get it up. So this one here, you know, this will already get like a little bit higher, and then still my Shaco is not upgraded, so this will get more as well. So I can definitely get this, and I don't have any greater affixes cooldown reduction, right? So I mean, in general, this build is absolutely possible. Like, it's no problem whatsoever. I mean, no problem. You still need to get like you need a lot of gear with a lot of greater affixes in the right spot and stuff like that. But you know, it is absolutely possible to reach it. That's why I say I also wrote in the planner that, you know, it's probably going to be like 5-second flame shield and 45% cooldown reduction. But it also, obviously, it depends on your gear, it depends on your flame shield duration. It's like a lot of variables, but, you know, as soon as you reach the numbers, it's going to work. And it's just going to be farming. I just got to farm, like, you know, materials to do so. It's going to take a long time. But you know, I can farm tier 85, which is, I guess, okay for materials here. But I'm still trying to figure out if I need the Ice Blades enchant or not. Yeah, I don't know the Ice Blades attack speed frames, actually, but I cannot really reach more attack speed anyway. So I'm at the I'm at the 20 attack speed frames, and with Tal Rasha Ring you technically cannot reach the next one unless you would have greater affix attack speed crit 3 times on every item. So it's basically impossible. Yeah, Asus Ferocity, but that's gonna cost you 45% damage, so I mean, I tried that, but it's too much of a damage loss, really. And since there seems to be a cap on Ice Blades anyway, there's also nothing you're really getting from the attack speed there. Obviously, yeah, you get a little bit more cooldown reduction, obviously, from Ice Blades, but you know, I don't even know how their breakpoints are. It's also, like, pretty annoying. Again, you cannot use Asus. It costs 45% damage. It's not gonna work in higher tiers. It's just too much of an investment. I did that. I already tried this with Asus. My damage was like just too low. And it's really not super important. I mean, I feel like it just feels significantly faster, but you're really just having 10% more attack speed in the end. So it is not really... Well, currently, if you play Asus, right, you cannot use Inner Calm and you cannot use Verse Mastery, so you have 45% less damage. Even more because they're multiplicative. So it's like 50% actually. I just did it. It doesn't work. Believe me, please. Flame Shield is not a barrier. Does it make sense? Well, there's nothing else I can use. There's no aspect which is doing damage. So what else am I supposed to do? Also, for the most bosses, I can actually stand still. It's just like certain bosses, like the Hive Master, where you can't. But most bosses, you can actually get around it. I mean, I can probably clear 90s as well, but it's just I have to reach the flame shield. What the hell is this thing? I mean, I'm clearing 85s and I, you know, have more than half of time left, and you know, I'm not even playing optimized build. So didn't even upgrade my weapon and stuff like that. So I'm really like far away from being optimized here. Why is there no mobs? Wait, oh wait, the port is already open. So you see, like, the lightning spears literally don't do... I mean, they do like one crackling energy like every minute or so. It's like really... Lightning spears like such a low lucky hit chance. So as you can see, like for most of this fight, I have inner calm actually up, right? And if you teleport, it doesn't remove inner calm, right? So if you jump with teleport, it still works. So I think inner calm is like a very, very strong modifier actually for this kind of playstyle. It's like 30% damage, like pretty much unconditional. So, and this is double HP boss on 85, so this is... Yeah. But I wonder if the lightning spears, like... This crackling energy bothers me, really. Exquisite Blood. I think that drops from Nightmare Dungeons. I just did Icy Veil. Dude, it doesn't work. Just believe me, please. Icy... it is not a barrier. It's not considered a barrier. It's just something completely different. It is not working. A barrier is a barrier, and Flame Shield is Flame Shield. It's a skill. It has absolutely nothing to do with being a barrier. Ice Armor isn't a barrier either. It's just a skill. It doesn't work. The tooltip is not. Why would the tooltip be bugged? It doesn't make any sense. A barrier is a barrier. This one you see at my life globe, this is a barrier. Barrier is basically a condition. Barrier is that thing which protects your health. And that is, in this build, spawned by protection and by ice armor. And that gives you a barrier. And that is a barrier. And that is barrier duration 4. It really has nothing to do with Flame Shield. Nope. Defensive has nothing to do with barrier. Fortify is not a barrier. Barrier is a barrier. Literally, if it says it's giving you a barrier, then it's a barrier. If it says it's giving you a Flame Shield, it's giving you Immortal, it's giving you Fortify, it's giving you whatever, it's gonna be whatever, but it has to say it's giving you a barrier, and then it's a barrier. I really wonder if Lightning Spear will be enough. Okay, I will try this with Lightning Spear on bar. Lightning Spear on bar and Ice Blades enchantment. I would try that. See what it does. I wonder if I actually need to cast Ice Blades or not. But I'm gonna do this on a lower tier because I'm gonna like completely die. And it really like comes down to like, you know, you gotta play the levels and you gotta just, you know, switch around the enchantments and just see what like basically plays best. You gotta keep playing, until you find out the best combination, because like theory crafting doesn't really help you a whole lot, because you just cannot verify your series. You can just say, you know, yeah, this feels better. Like this is basically what it comes down to, which is like super unfortunate, but you know, that's what you gotta deal with. It is not weak on bosses. The bosses just have like a gazillion hit points. So the Frozen Orb is exactly the, you know, it's pretty much the same on bosses and not on bosses. It actually does significant damage, but the bosses just have like trillions and trillions of hit points. No, Exploit Paragon Glyph is not broken. And Territorial is garbage. Okay, so let's see. Oh wow. That was close. I really don't know if I have to cast Flame Shield at this point. I'm just gonna stop casting them and see if I fall low on Conjurations. Yeah, I definitely do. So you definitely have to cast Flame Shield. You definitely have to cast the Ice Blades, I feel like. Seems to be a huge difference. No, you cannot get an increase. Again, Icy Veil, like barriers have absolutely nothing to do with Flame Shield. It's like completely unrelated. Sharpshooter is the best boss, I feel like, because he only has half HP. Oh yeah, Ice Blades don't hit him when he's away. That's probably true. So let me just try something stupid here. Let's put Lightning Spear instead of Ice Blades and see if the Ice Blades enchantment is gonna take care of it. I'm just gonna go to like 75. I don't wanna waste my materials. Oh, I'm at 14 as well, actually. Where's the Ice Blades, though? I have to spot the Ice Blades. Where are they? Look how chill a level tier 75 is, like... This is like farming state. You know, it's probably even better farming this tier, since it goes like so much faster. Oh, these guys refuse to die. Wait, so my... I remember what the problem is. Now, here's the thing with the Ice Blades. Now I remember what it is, because I tested this before. So, here's the thing with Ice Blades, right? So if you run Ice Blades enchant, only self-cast Ice Blades will actually trigger the, not the, so the cooldown reduction from Ice Blades will only be triggered by self-cast Ice Blades. That is something I noticed before, but I actually forgot. So if you look at my lightning spear, right? So literally look at the cooldown of my lightning spear and see how it doesn't move at all. Even though the ice blades are hitting stuff, right? Yeah. I mean, I discovered this before. There's like so many stupid stuff going on. Like the conjurations, which are spawned by other stuff. They basically don't inherit the skills. But some do though, but not all. It's like super weird. I think it's for ice blades at least. So as you can see, like it literally doesn't reduce the cooldowns. I think they did that because they don't want to have like infinite cooldown reduction on that. Right, and if I start self-casting those, it will be extreme. Let's wait for the boss. It's actually going to be more clear when we hit the boss. So there's so many strange things going on really with Sorceress. Like, I don't know even know what all these bugs are. I think you do actually. Yes. We will see at the boss fight. I mean, I would check at the dummies, but I think it's required. And that's probably also why you need to keep spamming, because in theory, if you can only have 6 to 9 Ice Blades max, right? And your conjurations will spawn them, what they will do is they will basically despawn the ones you self-cast, and then you're not gonna get the cooldown reduction. So let's look. If I get any kind of cooldown reduction here on this boss. Oh, I should maybe, like, look at what I'm doing. But, you know, I literally get no cooldown reduction. Yeah, there is a maximum of... I mean, I cannot even verify what the maximum is. So... so the maximum is basically 6 if you run Ice Blades Enchant, or it is 6 if you run Fractured Winterglass. But I cannot figure out if it's 9 if you run both. Because it's like literally impossible to count. But so you can see, like, there's literally no cooldown reduction going on, right? Like, and I have the Ice Blades out there on the boss. Like, you see them. And they literally don't work. So that is also because the Ice Blades spawned by the Winterglass are basically also not reducing your cooldown at all. So that's why you have to keep spamming Ice Blades. Because the Winterglass is going to override your good Ice Blades with its bad Ice Blades, basically. You know? No, it's just gonna, it's just always gonna remove the oldest one, basically. So now let's just remove, I'm just gonna remove Ice Blades Enchant now. And, so here's this thing, right? Because I did that at the dummies, and I was testing this. If I can get 6 without and 6 with, so... You can check my items and Paragon in the planner. Yeah, the Ice Blades spawned by cooldown basically don't drop cooldowns. That is the story. Which is, like, super depressing. So there's, like, really pretty strict limits on this. So if you just put, like, boss training dummies here, right, and you do multiple. So I'm gonna show you how it works, basically. So now we have no Ice Blades enchantment, right? So if we now spawn Ice Blades, you will see there's a maximum of 3 Ice Blades. So let me just, you know, you can just do it with a single one. As you can see how, like, this is basically reducing its own cooldown, right? So as you can see. And now I have 3. Just wait. No, 3 again. And as you can see, if I cast a new one, it's gonna always respawn the last one here, right? So there's always 3. Cannot get more. Whenever you cast a new one, the last one here, I'm just doing the round robin, right? So you will always see the last one instantly despawning. Okay, so now here's what happens if you put Winterglass. So Winterglass has its own, basically, right? So if I do both now, Winterglass and Ice Blades, you would see, like, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? You see? So it goes up to 6 or something like that. I would assume it's 6, okay? And now if you add... Now if you remove Winterglass, right? And add Ice Blades enchant, you can also have 6. Right? So let's just like casting some random stuff, right? So you can also count Conjuration Mastery, so it's 4 now, right? 5. So you can get 6, basically. You're not gonna get over 6, yeah. You can spam as much as you want. Like, you're not gonna get above 6. This is the max, which you can get from Ice Blades enchant. But the ones from Ice Blade enchant, still, they are not gonna reduce your cooldowns. Only the real ones are gonna reduce your cooldown, right? It's not completely useless, but because it stacks your Conjuration Mastery, right? But, you know, it might actually be... that's why I'm saying I probably not gonna play it, because it seems like you cannot get 8. But the question is, if you add Winterglass and enchant, can you get 9? And that is the stuff I cannot get it counted. Because there's just too much on the screen. Like, literally, I cannot really deactivate all these frozen orbs, so no matter what I do, I will never be able to count the Ice Blades. I really tried it for a long time. And I don't know if it's 6 or 9, basically. So, if the Ice Blades enchantment is giving me 3 extra ones or not, I cannot find out. Which is super depressing. Yeah, I don't care what Norse War said. You know. It is 3 plus 3 if you without the Winterglass, and the Winterglass adds 3. So, yeah, and that is... I know that it's from Summon from Enchant, but again, Fractured Winterglass gives you its own 3. So my suspicion is you can get 9, right? Because if you remove Ice Blades enchant and you do Winterglass, you can get 6. Because the Winterglass basically gets its own 3. Right? So, as you can see, there's like 4 or 5. I mean, I tested this. So with Winterglass, you can get 6. With Ice Blades enchant, you can also get 6. So my assumption is you can get 9, but I cannot verify it. I would really like to verify it, but I can't. It's impossible for me. But yeah, for the cooldown reduction, it literally doesn't matter. Only the 3 Ice Blades you manually cast are gonna reduce your cooldowns. Most likely not. But I don't even know, because that boots you cannot use anyway. So that's why you don't technically have to use the Ice Blades enchant. It doesn't matter, even with Frozen Orbit, I tried it, you cannot see it. It's like just impossible. I really tried it for a long time. It's like, also like the timings are like super close, right? They start despawning like very fast. So these Ice Blades don't last for a long time. They only last 7.2 seconds. Yeah, I know, but the Ice Blades are gonna cast the Frozen Orbs on the mobs all the time. It's really, let's just say it's like really annoying. But that's what I'm saying. Like without the Ice Blades enchant, I can also easily get 6 Ice Blades, but I might be missing out on 3. And I have like literally no way to find out. Yeah, they stun. So it is only for Ice Blades, it seems like. It's probably they just made it like the regular Ice Blades can reduce cooldown, so you cannot get too strong of a cooldown reduction or something like that. So that's why the attack speed breakpoints actually help with the Immortal story, right? So if you get the highest attack speed breakpoint, you get your cooldowns back faster. But you're also gonna do significantly less damage. So I really want to reach it without having to play Asus Ferocity. If you play it with Asus Ferocity, it's pretty simple actually. Like, it works like a charm. But yeah, it's really only the regular Ice Blades attacks. So that's why I have to keep spamming them. And I don't want to keep spamming them, because whenever I'm casting an Ice Blade, I'm not casting a Frozen Orb, right? But I have to do it because I have to have my 3 good Ice Blades up all of the time, basically. No, the enchantment Ice Blades don't decrease cooldown. I literally just tested it. Well, maybe you need to have them on the bar. But if you don't have them on the bar, they absolutely don't. But it's also, again, it's hard to verify. But at least to me, it didn't look like it was. My cooldowns were literally untouched last run. And this run, they are not. Because I'm self-casting my Ice Blades. I don't know. It's something weird going on with those Ice Blades anyway. Oh, it's not fair. You use less, it's required. Because it's gonna reduce your cooldowns. My question is just if you can have 6 or 9. At least it is so if I don't spam Ice Blades, my cooldowns are worse. That is just, you know, I can clearly feel that in the boss fights. That I have to spam my Ice Blades. And technically, I wouldn't have to do this. But if I don't do it, I'm gonna be way bad. Like, I'm like gonna be so much worse on cooldowns. So now I'm having, like, you know, top of 11 Ice Blades without the Ice Blade enchant. And I'm really spamming the exact same I would be spamming before. And I'm even running out of mana without the Ice Blades enchant at this point. Well, now I'm back at 15 though. That was like so annoying. Like, I literally had it ready. It's like really... You really have to try these things out and see how they're working. Well, I cannot verify the Winterglass one. I basically just verified the one from the enchantment, right? The Winterglass one might be a completely different story once again. So... it's really hard to figure out. But I feel like at this stage I'm even having mana problems. Which I really never had. Oh, it's just like unbelievable how exactly that one split second where you have no flame shield, this shit hits. But yeah. But I feel like without Ice Blades enchantment, it's definitely not as good. I'm literally not looking at the boss fight. I'm just like looking at the Conjuration Mastery number because I really want to figure out how much I get in like top here. But it doesn't seem to be much less actually. Like during Unstable Currents, I feel like I get the same amount. Like I get like 13 to 15 during Unstable Currents. And I feel like I was getting that before as well. And I also have enough Flame Shield pretty much, so I don't think the enchantment is really needed. You always have mana problems once you start off. That's normal. So if you have them on the bar and not casting them... Didn't I just do this? No, I didn't. Let me check. Yeah, obviously you get attack speed from Unstable Current, so it boosts your Ice Blade's attack speed. So that's why you're getting a lot of more cooldown reduction. I mean, that's like totally logical, right? So if I do the following, right? Let me just do boss here. So now I'm just gonna do... Well, how am I gonna see if the Ice Blades from the Ice Blades enchants are reducing the cooldown if I cannot get my Ice Blades on cooldown? I don't even have it. Let's see. Wait, what was I gonna... Ah. On here. So let's just get like some Ice Blades here, and then maybe I can see it when I cast one far away while the other one is attacking or something like that. Alright, let's see. Okay, so it actually does. So the one from the enchantment definitely does. Wonder if the one from the Winterglass does as well. Spawn one. Okay, so it seems to still do it. I guess that's fake news then. Okay, now I'm trying again with... I really want to know if the Ice Blades enchant is needed or not. There's a video in the description which is called like Frozen Orb FAQ, and there's a section how to fix your mana. So check that out. So now I'm gonna go in with Ice Blades enchant. Yeah, I mean, if you get Unstable Currents cooldown reduction on your ring as well, it's probably gonna help a little bit. But no, in the end, I guess even if you get the highest attack speed with Asus Ferocity, you're still gonna not have perma Unstable Currents. So I guess you would just need crazy high cooldown reduction rolls. I don't know, there's so many enchants to use, really. They are all garbage, basically. So Firebolt enchant really is good if you're like in the dungeon phase. It really speeds up your progress. Chain Lightning enchant, you can use Charge Glyph, get 15% extra damage, and the Chain Lightning enchant does a little bit of damage itself. Other than that, you can obviously get Flame Shield enchant, which is probably not even bad in this situation. That's pretty much the options you have there. No, you can definitely have more than 6 lightning spears. That is absolutely possible. Like with the unstable currents builds, like the basic skill builds, you always have like 15 to 20 lightning spears. Like that is definitely possible. Like if you just go unstable currents, Arclash build with max attack speed, you get way more than 10 lightning spears up at a time. So I don't know if they are uncapped, but you can get like quite a few. I mean, in the PTR I had like 35 plus as well, But you would probably have to remove like 6 so you have to take it -8, I guess. There would be like 28. So I'm pretty sure it's fair to say that lightning speeds will be uncapped. I'm just missing some cooldown reduction and flame shield duration. So basically what I'm missing is just some master working on my gear. And besides that, I have pretty much figured it out. I mean, I could still do the Asus Ferocity version. And I guess then it would already be enough. I will test that again after this if I feel like better with the Asus version at this point. I think there's 2 versions you can definitely play. You can play the Asus version with 45% less damage. Or you can play the other version. I mean, you can also play the Asus version with Starless Skies, I guess. Since you don't need the attack speed from rings. It's gonna be a little bit more relaxed with the mana to get it going. But I don't want to really play that. I mean, I played it with Asus and it worked fine, actually. Without even Starless Skies. I didn't really had an issue with that. But I only, like, briefly tested it, though. So it doesn't look like I cap out at more conjurations, really. With Ice Blades Enchant. Always depends a little bit on how many conjurations you have before you pop Unstable Currents. But right now I'm sitting at like 12. But I'm probably also overcasting my Ice Blades here. So I guess you really gotta get the discipline not to spam the Ice Blades button too crazy. You probably just have to press it once every 2 seconds or so. Yeah, sure, you can get all these items, but you know, you gotta be realistic. I'm playing with achievable items at this point. I can get all greater affix rolls on cooldown reduction on all my gear, and you know what? All problems are going to be fixed. Are you gonna give me 30 hours of playtime to masterwork everything to crit it twice? That is the issue. The issue is not... I mean, the existence of the items is not the issue. The issue is getting those. Right. I can upgrade... This one is full, right? Does this even go up from like 21.9? 22.4. That's pretty minimal, actually. But it will go to +5, I guess, right? At some point. So what did I do? So I have Ice Blades Enchant. I'm gonna test one more time with Ice Blades Enchant. Because Asus Ferocity costs your key passive, and also it's capped. So you cannot get above 100% attack speed with Asus Ferocity. You can only get above 100% attack speed with Accelerating Aspect. So you cannot just put, you know, 75 attack speed and then take Asus and you're not going to be at 125. It doesn't work like that. That's crackling energy. The blue dots. Which I'm also still trying to figure out. Because ideally, if you just go for Chain Lightning Enchant, and you know, if you don't need the Ice Blades Enchant whatsoever, then you can just go for Asus for then you can just go for Chain Lightning Enchant and take the 15% extra damage from Charge Glyph. Yeah, the attack speed design is absolutely horrible. What the hell is this? If you have 80% attack speed, I think you just need one more, right? Isn't the breakpoint 81? I don't feel like it, honestly, because it doesn't seem to matter for me if I have it on or off. Like, I have the same number of conjurations. I just feel like it's not gonna change it. Like, I'm comparing it all the time. Maybe it is, but it's like so hard to tell, actually, because, you know, I don't have any hard numbers there. You can check the description of this video. I can tell you the breakpoint. The breakpoint is 88.2 is the highest breakpoint, and the lower breakpoint is 78.2. So if you're at 81, you have the 78.2 breakpoint, and you're good. Well, two-hand breakpoints are different. But two-handed breakpoints, you know, there's gonna be lots of them, right? So, two-hand, the breakpoints are not gonna be far away from each other because the attack speed frames are so much lower. So you basically the game has to calculate and hit a frame, right? So the two-hand attack speed is like what is it, like 20% lower or something like that. So the base frame is like 25 or something like that. So you will have more breakpoints with two-handed weapons. But it's pretty easy to test. I mean, you just gotta get like OBS and record 60 frames per second and then just count them with like a video alarm client or something like that, frame by frame. I mean, it's a little bit of work, but you also will feel like if you attack and you hit a breakpoint, you will definitely notice that. You don't even need to count the frames. Like you will definitely notice the difference if you hit a higher frame. So if you go to like your Paragon board and you keep removing those 1.3 attack speed nodes, you will notice when the attack speed gets slower. Like, it's really a huge difference. Like, it's very, very different. So if you really don't want to calculate the exact numbers. No, the breakpoints are different for all skills. I don't know the breakpoints for ice blades though. Would probably be smart to get the breakpoints for ice blades. Because it seems to matter in this build, actually. So the breakpoint is literally different for weapon type and every single skill. Well, it's not different for every single skill. Some skills have the same breakpoint. But I don't know them for ice blades at this point. Do I have... I have ice blades enchant. But it's would probably be smart to actually get the breakpoints for ice blades there. So I'm really like, if I'm pace tanking this boss, I'm like at half a second basically flame shield. I'm gonna try after this without the ice blades. When shit hits the fan. Oh god. Not those guys. So you really, as soon as you move away just once, like you're completely screwed, basically. So I'm gonna try after this without Ice Blitz Enchant and see where I am. Because ideally I don't want to use Ice Blades Enchant. Why would Sorc get any fixes? Like, Blizzard doesn't even know these bugs, probably. Because it is actually not bugs. It works as intended. There's no fix. It is not a bug. Please understand, like, It just has been communicated by Blizzard in a very poorly way, like the changes on Vulnerable, but they just implemented it in a completely different way. But it's not a bug, it's by design. It's feature. Let me just try. I'm gonna do for what am I gonna do? Let's go Firebolt. Doesn't matter. I'm also like, what am I gonna do with these 3 points, by the way? I don't even care, honestly. Yeah, you need mana per second with chest. And the armor is, anyway, it's a complete garbage. Like, literally, like, that is probably the worst unique existing in the game right now. Like, one of the worst uniques. Like, the damage of, like, Tyrell's Might is, like, 2k, right? If you look at the Frozen Orb, it does, like, 64 to 79k. And Tyrell's Might does, like, 2k. Like, it's literally irrelevant. It doesn't do any damage. Correct. It works as intended, but it's just shit. But if you know that it's shit, you can actually work around it. Basically, what it helps me understand is that crit damage and vulnerable damage are extremely strong compared to other damage types, because they are multiplied with those conditions, which are basically free, right? So the 20% multiplier for vulnerable is free. So even though it doesn't work for all your damage, which is the way Blizzard communicated it, but it doesn't work like that, so it just multiplies your vulnerable damage. But with that knowledge, you can actually stack a lot of vulnerable damage and get free 20% extra damage. Which is, you know, before we wouldn't do this, right? So before we would just stack whatever damage because we would think, you know, it's gonna be multiplied with 20% anyway. But now, with knowing that it's actually not true, you can get a lot of vulnerable damage knowing that it's 20% better than any other damage. Same with crit. Right? Crit doesn't work like this as well. So, crit only multiplies with critical strike damage. It doesn't multiply with all your damage. So in literally every single game on this planet, like, and I'm talking like, you know, since any game which has been made since like 1995 or whatever, like crit would always be, you know, you crit, your damage gets multiplied by something, right? Like literally any game. Like there's no game which has implemented crit in any other way like this. Like it is in like World of Warcraft, it is in like all Blizzard games, it's in Path of Exile, it's in Last Epoch, it's in literally like every game which has crit, it's implemented the exact same way, right? If you crit, your damage gets multiplied by your crit damage. Like that has always been the case. It has never been different in any goddamn game. So now here's Diablo 4. Like you have the weirdest crit calculation on Earth. Like literally, it doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Crits can crit? Isn't that overpower? But I mean, it's like so weird. Like this is a concept which has been existing like forever, right? Yeah, there was crit chance and crit damage. It has always been like that and has always worked the same, right? Crit damage was a percentage, and the more the crit chance would be multiplied with your crit damage and would be multiplied with your damage, and that was basically the calculation. So crit damage times crit damage percent times damage would be the damage when you do a crit. Which was the way it was in Diablo initially. It was exactly in the game this way, how it was supposed to be. But then they just decided, oh, this multiplier is actually too strong, we're gonna remove it. Or we're gonna screw it up. Instead of just saying, you know what, we just take crit damage and divide it by 5 and make it a regular game, right? So why wouldn't you just say, hey, let's just 100% crit damage, let's just make 20 from this, and we have a regular game. Where it's like so weird. It's not a bug. They made this intentionally. They just communicated it wrong. Oh, wow. Okay, let's start fresh here. Right, so now without Ice Blades enchant, right? I'm literally at the same Flame Shield timing. I see no difference whatsoever. So I'm always at like 0.5 seconds when it ends. Exactly the same timing. No difference with or without Ice Blades enchant. So really, I don't see here any difference. Other than dying, obviously. But in general, I don't see a difference. So I really think Ice Blades enchant is not required for this. I hate this goddamn Shadow Clone. Ah! I don't care about a bigger cooldown. The only cooldown I care about is Flame Shield, really. So... just like so annoying to get this going. So I'm at 20 seconds unstable currents when it ends, right? I mean, the problem is, right, outside of unstable currents, I'm just missing, like, a little bit more. That has been the case on the other build as well. But it's, I mean, the difference, like, at least, you know, the difference is extreme. So if there's a difference, I mean, for sure there's going to be a difference because, you know, if you're ramping up, you're still going to be a little bit faster with the enchant. But the difference is so small that it's probably not being worth the enchant. Yeah, I mean, my base cooldown is anyway, like, it's too low. But, so, I mean, there might be a tiny difference. I'm not saying that there might not be a tiny difference, but is it worth the enchant? Probably not, honestly. Well, I mean, I can try Flame Shear, though. It is definitely an intermediate solution, right? Because I really wanted to choose an enchant for crackling energy, so I get the 15% from charged. Because I really cannot fix it without an enchant. But I mean, Flame Shield enchant is... does it work? Like, does it save you from one-shots? Because it says whenever you cumulatively get 100% damage. What if you get one shot? Does it trigger? Or does it only trigger if you don't get one shot? I've never tested that, actually. These lightning guys is like absolutely out of control. What do you mean? So if you get like... okay, so then it wouldn't do anything because I'm gonna get one shot anyway, right? But that is actually stupid. Like, why wouldn't it prevent me from death? How can I heal up in between? I'm talking about getting one shot. So I want to know, does Flame Shield enchant helps me from getting one shot? Yes or no? It used to trigger for one shots, yes. But now it says after cumulatively taking 100% of damage. So if I have 50% life and I take 55% damage, so it would depend on my flame shield, right? If I would be at, let's say, if my flame shield had taken 60% already, and then I would get a one-shot for 50% of my life, then it would save me. Like, if it would be at 0% and I would receive 0, then it wouldn't save me. Like, what is the... How does it work? Do I get the hit first and then the flame shield triggers? Then I don't get the point of the enchantment at all. Like, what would it do? Nothing, really. Yeah, okay. Multiple weaker hits. It's not gonna be my issue. It didn't even trigger. I just literally dropped like 90% of my hit points and it didn't even trigger. Didn't even trigger again. No, I'm not. I don't want to waste my time here. I think this is like... Oh, it triggered? So how did it trigger when I just got one shot? That is confusing. So I literally got one shot and the enchantment triggered? I'm gonna observe this little icon. What is this spawn point? Ugh. I didn't even see it trigger. That's stupid. So it didn't trigger again? I literally just took another 90% hit. Like now do I need to get another 10? So it triggers? Yeah, I know, I saw it on cooldown. But now it's not on cooldown and I just got a 90% hit. I don't think that thing is working at all, honestly. Oh, in 30 seconds? Oh, wow. What garbage. I wonder why the... Look, I know people are complaining that Sorc has no 3 enchanted slots, but I literally cannot even find the second enchantment I want to play. Like, these enchantments are all, like, complete garbage. Like, most enchantments are not usable at all. It's like so sad. Like, Hydra enchant is, like, so useless. It only, like, lasts 5 seconds. It's, like, complete garbage. Like, Ice Blade's enchant, as you can see, there's a limit. It doesn't do anything. Lightning Spear enchant literally doesn't do anything. Like, you can spawn, like, 1 or 2 Lightning Spears. Like, Incinerate? What is this? Charge Bolts enchantment? What is this? Chain Lightning enchantment has a use. Ice Shards has a use, I guess. Fireball has a use, I guess. Arclash, no use. Frostbolt, no use. Spark, no use. Meteor is so terrible. The chance you basically don't use it. Blizzard, would you ever use this? Firewall, I guess you can. So there's basically 4 usable enchantment. So, like, literally, like, 90% of them are just plain garbage. Oh, that is not good. Dodged it. What is this timing? Not even there that Flame Shield enchant triggers. Okay, I should stop panicking here and just kill the goddamn boss. Again, it didn't trigger. Does it ever trigger? Oh. What happened? What did just happen? I have no clue. Yeah, I take 90% damage all the time. Like, why don't they make it at 50 that it actually has a chance to trigger? No, Frostbolt Enchant is so terrible for boss stagger, it doesn't even do anything, honestly. Frost Nova works okay, but it's also not extremely strong. And Arclish doesn't do anything, I feel like. I mean, this literally does nothing. I don't even know if it works on bosses, honestly. But nobody would ever use these. These are just too weak. Okay, so... I'm checking one more time with Ice Blades here. I have to gamble, though. What do we have here? Anything good? I'm gonna keep these. I'm gonna keep these. Not gonna keep these. This is not bad. I'm just holding on to everything because I keep bricking my items like crazy when I'm like doing stuff. And I literally cannot enchant anymore. I have no Angel Breath left, so I'm out completely. So I have to farm Helltides, and that is very, very depressing, and I want to do it. I'm rather like probably gonna quit or start a new character than farming Helltides. Alright, we want to get wands. Want. They should at least give you like Angel Breath from disenchanting or so. Like, there should be at least some way to get it. It's just so damn rare. Can I upgrade my armor? Oh, I need 4. 6. I need 6 more. Alrighty. My cooldown reduction is terrible. So I started in off-season with 6,000 Angel Breaths. And now we are what? I think I have been playing for a little bit more than a week and I'm out. I literally have nothing left. I burned through like 6,000 of those so fast. Enchanting odds are just so terrible in this game right now. Yeah, Helltide bosses are probably... I don't even know what's the fastest. I mean, all these Helltide lieutenants, commanders, whatever they're called. I guess they're all dropping that stuff, right? But it takes a lot of time, man. Like, you have to farm 10 hours of Helltide for like, what, 200, 300, 500 maybe? And that is basically enough to enchant one single item if you're lucky. You can have 2 Hydras with Hydra enchant. I cannot check right now because I have like 1,000 buffs on. I can check in town. But I think it's like 65k or something like that. I mean, the Hydra enchant is just... It would be good if it would be a regular Hydra. The problem is it doesn't get buffed by the Hydra aspect and it doesn't get buffed by Conjuration Mastery. So it really only is 5 seconds. And that basically makes it unusable. Because 5 seconds is just too short. And I also don't understand why. Like, it should just be a regular Hydra. Like, it's not like Hydra is so overpowered, right? So if the Hydra enchant would just be like the same Hydra you spawn with Hydras, then it would be good. Then it would be worth using. It counts as another conjuration, yeah, but it's... So basically you get 1 extra conjuration up for, you know... I mean, I guess you get 2 at a time if you choose it. So I guess technically it's 12% extra damage there. So, I mean, I think it's still an option, I would say. But the problem there is... no, it doesn't work. It's always 5 seconds. Man, I tested that. It's so depressing. The Hydra enchant is always 5 seconds or 6 seconds, I don't even know. Maybe the enchantment works, but not the aspect or so. I don't even remember because it's so bad. But I honestly don't think it works. But I can check. I mean, so if you use it, right, you will have basically 2 extra Hydras. I mean, I think it's 2. It used to be 1, but I think with the buff that you can have 2 Hydras, I think the enchant rates also goes to 2 extra ones by default. But I can check. I mean, technically it's 12% extra damage, right? So is 12% extra damage good for an enchantment slot? You know, it probably is. If you really have nothing better. Why does it always have to be Slither? So I feel like I'm at... Yeah, it's like 2 seconds on Unstable Currents cooldown really with the enchantment. So, or it was like 2 or 3 seconds basically, so... I mean, I guess that was still fairly like minimal, the effect. So I think in the end the Ice Blades enchantment isn't worth it. I think as soon as you have enough cooldown reduction you don't need that. It should last as long as a normal Hydra. Yeah, then it would be totally viable. Because then you could just get, the, you know, your 4 Hydras, which is actually pretty strong. Vulnerable damage, best damage temper. Did you see them clear it with Elixir of Holy Bolt versus the bosses? Or did you see them clear it by themselves? What? This wrong guy. Yeah, with Elixir, exactly. I mean, I think I can go for 100 with this. I'm just gotta fix my flame shield. Look at that, worst possible. Okay, so I guess you get +4 flame shield, it stays at +4, so I guess you just gotta crit it once, I assume. So this is basically wasted. So this was my flame shield duration there. But, so I'm at 4.82 still? Okay, that's depressing. Anyway. No, the elixir, if you fish for bosses with ads, the elixir does basically all the damage. So most of them fish for bosses where they spawn ads and then the elixirs explode on the ads and do like crazy amount of damage. Yeah, I don't think high range hand is a clickbait, but I'm gonna try see what's happening. So it says for 6 seconds here, right? So, and I have the enchanter glyph. So again, it is, or is it 5 seconds at the base? Let me just check. Yeah, where's the enchanter? Conjurer. So let me take that out. Okay, so I guess from 5 to 6 seconds, basically. So literally, I mean, it doesn't make a whole lot of a difference. The other one definitely doesn't work, the aspect there. I guess if you use if you use the other glyph, it would probably go up by another, like the enchantment master one. Then would probably go up by another, you know. No, the aspect doesn't work. Not on the Hydra enchant. It doesn't make any sense. The aspect gives like, what, 25%? Let me just put it like that. It used to not work. Maybe they changed it. I mean, that's possible, but it definitely didn't work in the past. How is it called? Serpentine. Yeah, you're right. It actually works, but this didn't work before. But it's still pretty terrible. Like the base duration is just too low. I mean, obviously it changes, but it's still freaking weak. I used it in I used it on the PTR and it didn't even work. I don't know. But it's still like, even if it works, like it's just still way too weak. What is it? But I mean, you can use it for like 2 extra hydras, I guess. Maybe it just spawns 1. Let's see. I think the Holy Bolt, also, I saw videos with Sorcs which used the Holy Bolt and it hits the bosses for like 20% hit points. So it has a percentage damage. I don't know what it was, but I mean, it definitely works on bosses. I think it's like Emily Hearts or whatever, like, or Roxy, like one of those girls has a video with, I think it's like tier 96 or something like that, and she had the Holy Bolt elixir, and she was literally doing absolutely no damage, and then the ad spawned and the Holy Bolt elixir killed the boss. So that definitely works on all classes. It's just stronger on Necromancer, but it still works with all classes. So the Holy Bolt elixir does like a crap ton of damage to bosses. Inner Calm is 30%. It's the best aspect you can get, basically, for this build. So wait, do I get 2 5-headed or 1? Okay, so you can at least get 2 5-headed Hydras. So maybe Hydra enchant will even be better, because you get the 2 Hydras, which can also spit out conjurations, I would assume. Not conjurations, frozen orbs. Control? Why wouldn't control work as intended? Well, control. Well, for this, not. Again, it depends what you're playing. If you're just farming, control is very good. If you want to push and do like a 8-minute boss fight, then control is going to be very bad. Yeah, all the vulnerable, they all work the same. They all work with the multiplier on the vulnerable damage. They literally all doing the same stuff. They all have different tooltips for whatever reason, but they all do the same, basically. Control does something on boss when the boss is staggered. So if you're farming and you're only spending like a minute on the boss is going to be staggered all the time, and that's the fastest way to farm, and then control glyph is very, very good. So it definitely does something on bosses. No, this is very, very high end. So you will need at least 100 hours of farming to just get this gear going. No, that's not true. We're talking about farming. This is not low tier content. So if I do this level here, tier 85 would be still better to farm it with control. So I'm really just talking about if you get into like the tier 95 plus. Like tier 80 I can do in like 2 minutes with control, and the boss is gonna be staggered all the time, so control is very strong for that. Where is this? What is this? Why is there no... Huh? I don't understand. Like, do I have to go back to the last level? Okay, again. If you are farming and the boss only takes 30 seconds, control is very good. If you want to do a 5-minute boss fight, control is very bad. It really highly depends on what you're doing. So... yeah, that's like kind of stupid, right? They should fix that. Like, if they spawn a new level, it should always have enough mobs to, like, basically get you through it. Like, if you do 5 to 7 minutes in tier 80, go to tier 75. It's way too long. You shouldn't spend more than, you know... I mean, this is already way too long, basically. I should, like, revert down some levels, but I'm testing, basically. I want to have the boss fights to last a little bit longer so I can test my stuff. But for farming, this tier is too high. I should be going down to, like, tier 80 to farm. Because I'm really just gonna get 5 extra materials per level, which is like literally not a lot. And I need double the time to finish these. I mean, the unstable currents cooldown is definitely an issue with the cooldown, so I guess you need like a fairly high cooldown reduction to get this really working. So this is like 5 minutes for 85, it's totally inefficient. Nobody's using the additive aspect, so the damage I'm using here is concussive strikes, which also gives me a 20% multiplier to bosses when they staggered. And it gives me 176 intelligence, and it gives me flame shield duration. So at this, I cannot even play T-balls. I don't even need to think about it, because it's not gonna work. Because I'm not gonna be, like, infinite flame shielding. So, here's the thing, right? If you want to go farming, you do Firebolt enchantment. You don't even need to think about it. There's nothing better than Firebolt enchantment for farming. Then you just go to, like, some lower levels. Like, I go, for example, to tier 80. And with Firebolt enchantment is the fastest in the dungeon. You don't even need to talk about. There's nothing better than Firebolt enchantment to get you through the dungeon as fast as possible. So, when you're farming, you would always use Firebolt enchantment. And then you want to go through this dungeon the fastest possible way. And Firebolt enchantment just gives you the extra crit damage, which really matters a lot. What is with these guys? So you probably would even do another build for farming. Like, you could probably even play this with teleport enchantment or so. Not sure, but basically you want to speed through if you want to farm materials. Like what I'm doing, I was testing. But you know, I'm pretty sure I'm not going to use the Ice Blades enchantment. I'm just going to get my cooldown reduction on my gear and then I'm going to be fine. I wanted to try the Asus one still. I'm gonna do that after this. So with Firebolt enchant, you're just gonna be significantly faster because you just have the burning and it really makes a big difference. It doesn't matter because I have Flame Shield, which does burning. It's another great synergy with playing the Flame Shield build. You basically have the burning for free. Well, you can use the same board for the Blizzard build than this one, really. Like, it's pretty much the same build. You just switch the Winter Glyph, the Ice Spikes glyph in somewhere, probably where the charged is also. But I'm not using the Crackling Energy right now. Because I cannot get Crackling Energy to spawn without investing in an enchantment slot. And you know, I might just as well play Hydra enchantment, which is basically going to be the same damage increase. Well, Conjuration Mastery gives you unlimited mana, basically. So this is already pretty long, but this was a pretty terrible dungeon layout, I would assume. So now if I get to the boss, right? And let's just say I had control now, right? So just look at how fast this boss gets basically staggered. So, fuck, come on, dude. So when it's staggered, it goes down so fast. Right? And if I had control, it would even go down faster, so... And then, you know, you just get instantly to the second stagger, and then the boss is just gonna be dead. Right? So that's why control makes a lot of sense in these cases. Because Inner Calm has to build up for 3 seconds, and it's gonna do 5% less, right? So it definitely has a value there. Vulnerable is... Exactly, it's the modifier. No, it's... So, vulnerable takes all multiplicative vulnerable modifiers, adds them, and then multiplies. It's like super weird. So, what is it? So, the vulnerable damage here shown, wherever it is... So this basically takes, so it says 20%, right? But if you get a 30% modifier like Frigit Fate, you basically get 50%, and then it multiplies all your other vulnerable damage by 50% and adds it on top of it. And it's same with crit. I mean, technically it would be better for me to use control when I just want to farm gear, which I'm gonna do at this point. And then it's just gonna be the fastest way, just do Firebolt enchantment, really. I'm on the build which I posted in the video, like the temporary build or whatever it's called. Again, I'm still working on this build, it's not done yet. But it's pretty much done. So I'm gonna change the charge probably to something else. So I'm gonna do the Paragon boards. I'm gonna change the glyphs a little bit because I really cannot find use for the charge glyph, unfortunately. I cannot get the crackling energy without too heavy investments. No, turrets might just throw that in the garbage, dude. Get your Resplendent Spark and craft yourself a Shaco or so. Conjuration's Mastery has been changed in Season 4. So it also gives movement speed and mana regeneration. Ice Shard's enchantment does no damage on bosses, and I think in this dungeon phase it doesn't clear very fast. Because you don't have skill points in Ice Shards. So basically Firebolt just gives you the extra crit multiplier from Devouring Blaze. And it gives you extra burning damage, which is not a whole lot, but you know, you get 10% from Flame Feeder basically through the Firebolt enchant. And then you get like 120% additives, and you get the extra crit multi from Devouring Blaze. So it's just gonna be like superior. Like having this stuff burning, it just dies like significantly faster. No, turrets just throw that in the garbage, really. Like it's a fun item, but it does no damage. It has no use in any build whatsoever. Like those 2k bolts, if they would do 20k, would be alright. But the 2k bolts are literally like worthless. It's like special Blizzard design team. They just design cool items which do no damage. That's like the, you know, if you notice, like most of these items, like they design cool items which do no damage. Blue Rose, Isadora's Cameo, or whatever that thing is called. Tyrell's Might. What else is there? Like there's more of these items which do no damage. Andariel's. So it does no damage, but it has other use. But, you know, the proc basically does no damage. X-Force does a little bit of damage, but still cannot be played anymore because it's just way weaker than a legendary. And I think there's even more of these useless items. They are all, like, they're good, but they just need to do 10 times the damage, so they are gonna be viable. Like, good concept, but, you know, it doesn't give me anything if I can't use it. That was so stupid of mine. And I have to get rid of the damage too close. It's just such a terrible modifier. Like I'm pretty sure I'm not triggering damage too close at all on this bosses. I cannot verify, it's like impossible, but I think the frozen orbs which just pass through the boss are not triggering close. I don't even know what kind of stupid bug that is. Like, literally, like you click on the boss, and it causes the frozen orb to travel through the boss and explode behind the boss. I don't even understand how, like, it can get into the game in a state like this. Like, if you test this, like, you click on the boss and the orb travels through it. Like, why you put it in the game like this? It doesn't make any sense. It's just so bad. It's like, this is even more than depressing for it to be like that. Can I upgrade some garbage here? Let's do Shaco. I mean, Hydra Enchant is okay, but again, like I'm farming now, so Firebolt is gonna be the best. But the Hydra Enchant, like, again, the second enchantment slot, I do not seem to need the Ice Blades enchant, so whatever you put on there is pretty much irrelevant. Like, Hydra gives you 12% extra damage, plus the extra conjuration, so I guess it's a good option there. Honestly, I have no clue what close damage triggers or not, because it's also very hard to verify. But, you know, you could probably verify it. But still, like, this whole Frozen Orb flying through the boss, it just bothers me. And with the close, like, it just feels like sometimes you stand, like, right in the middle of the boss, and then you get a heavy damage spike, and then you stand, like, next to the boss model, and then you don't get it, because the boss model is so big, but it seems to just count as close if you're, like, right in the middle. Like, it's like, super weird. I mean, if you get the highest attack speed breakpoint, I guess you can get, you know, to... You get a little bit higher than I do. But the highest attack speed count also costs, like, a good amount of damage, so... I guess both work in the end. I guess with the higher attack speed, you have a little bit less issues with cooldowns. Because the ice blades attack faster. Alright, I wanted to try that, by the way. I'm gonna try it once. Yeah, exactly. Higher attack speed means more conjurations. It's true. I mean, I tried both, but, you know, I haven't tried the high attack speed with this Paragon board, actually. So it might be worth it. Good thing is you can basically freeze some Paragon points there for the attack speed, so you don't need those. So, again, I'm still picking this out. The easiest thing is, obviously, if you take the higher attack speed, you don't really need to worry about attack speed on your items so much. In this build right now, I mean, I still have the attack speed on my ring, but then you can switch to crit elixir, for example, which is, you know, it's not going to be a huge difference, but... Yeah, I mean, I usually grab the 8.9 from the board. The other ones are too expensive, if you ask me. But even with picking them, like, without... you're not going to get the highest breakpoint. It's not possible with playing Tarasha Ring. So... The only way to get the high breakpoint is really Asus Ferocity. There's no other way. I mean, you could also technically, I guess, switch accelerating aspect for Asus Ferocity and get the second highest breakpoint. But I don't know if that's gonna be a good choice. No, the 138.2 you can only get with double ring, I think, or with Asus Ferocity. The lower one is, I think, 121 or something like that. Oh wow. Because if I can basically remove accelerating aspect, right, and then play Asus Ferocity, I could still play my aspect, and I would technically be able to get a little bit higher. So the maximum would be the 125 then, right? So technically you could go for 125. I don't know where the breakpoint is. So the breakpoint is at... Okay, it doesn't work. It's at 128. No matter. Doesn't work. So yeah, I mean, the 128 you cannot reach. That's pretty unfortunate. But I want to try. I'm going to try it with Asus. You could also get a crit damage on your ring if you play Asus. So wait, I have... How much do I have? I have 48.4, so that would be the highest breakpoint, right? I need 138, so yeah. So exactly, that's what I did the last time, because you can basically remove these... you can remove these from Paragon here, these ones here, these 4. You can redistribute them. I'm not going to do it right now, but you could remove these, and I would still be at the highest breakpoint. And let me just do this on my gloves. You can reach 128.22. You can reach the 9 with Tarasha ring. You cannot reach the 90. The 19 you can only reach with Asus Ferocity, right? So that basically the highest breakpoint I could reach with out Asus Ferocity was 18 with the apps without Tal Russia. Yeah, so if you play Tal Russia, you basically can only then you can reach the 18, so you can reach the highest breakpoint, the 138.2. You can reach that with, so I have that right now, right? With Asus, it's pretty easy. So I have 48.8, right? So this goes to 98, so that's even too much, right? So I'm too high basically because I have still in Paragon. But so I mean it doesn't matter at this point. Just gonna test it. But then you can basically use a crit elixir here. Yeah, exactly. You need one attack speed ring and one attack speed glove. Okay, so you're using Starless. Yeah, then you cannot reach it. That's true though. So I'm playing like the highest attack speed breakpoint. Like if you play it, actually, like it is really like it's a very big difference in attack speed. Even though like by the numbers, it is just 10% more attack speed than I just had before. It just feels like so much faster. And I don't know what that is. Like it kind of feels like almost double the attack speed, and it's like a little weird. I don't really understand the dynamics behind it. Because just by the numbers, it is 3.3 attacks per second instead of 3 attacks per second. So it really doesn't like calculate like such a big increase. But it really feels like it is, though. I don't know if it's just feeling good or if it's really good by the numbers. It's like very hard to judge. But this with this board, it works pretty well actually. So it might really just be the best option to still go for the highest breakpoint. I would see at the boss though. Oh, lightning. No, I have no mana problems. So as soon as I hit 15 conjurations, I will never go out of mana. So I definitely have no problem with mana, even with this high attack speed without Starless Skies. I don't really have any issues with that. You will see at the boss. I have a new Paragon posted in the planner. I'm just not playing charged. I basically changed it to Enchanter at this point. I mean, it just feels like so much faster. I don't know why it is. My chest only has +6, I guess. But I don't know. Like I never had problems with that. Icefall doesn't work, so you can remove it. I mean, it works, but it does not give you 15% extra damage, so just remove it. It's really, really not doing a whole lot. Unless you have crazy amounts of vulnerable damage, but still then it will be bad. Okay, I want to see how it feels at the boss. I mean, I never had... Like, if I just when I start the boss, I always have like mana issues. Like to get it going, that is always a little bit of an issue for me. Like you can see, I'm getting like out of mana now, and it takes like a little while until I have all my ice blades going and stuff like that, right? Oh, that shouldn't. So, well, as long as the boss is staggered, obviously there's not going to be any mana issues. But if the boss is not staggered, so I'm kind of low right now because I'm at 11. See if it fixed it itself. So as you can see, at 15 I have no real issues there. So it really, like, but I don't feel like being significantly faster with this. Even though by the numbers, you know, I don't know, I just feel like the damaging aspects are like doing way more for me. I just feel like super weak when I'm doing this. Like, I literally don't do any damage. And I'm really struggling when I play this setup. I don't know why, but it's really, for me, it is exactly like the last time I tested it. It wasn't really working out for me. But now I'm also out of mana because I only have like 8 conjurations. So it's definitely not perfect there. But again, I have problems with this setup. And I had before. I mean, I guess with Starless Skies it would work. I mean, I'm not playing Ice Blades enchantment. Maybe that's the reason. It's a little hard to judge. But I also, I mean, I could spec into Frigid Breeze, right? Or so that would fix my mana most likely, I would say. But the damage is like just significantly lower, I feel like. I also don't feel like the cooldowns are like so much lower, but you know, it might just be RNG. But this is also like a super annoying boss, so maybe not the best benchmark. Yeah, that's true. I'm gonna try it again with Ice Blades here. But I have 3 extra points anyway, right? I don't need mana shield, so I will just put this into Frigid Breeze. Well, let's just put it back to Firebolt for now. I'm gonna do Hydra. And I'm gonna go back into Frigid Breeze, because I think that's gonna fix it most likely. But I didn't really feel more cooldown reduction at all. Maybe I don't even know if the Ice Blades are maybe already at max. I don't know their breakpoints there really. But I couldn't, at least like when I couldn't really feel better cooldown reduction there. Yeah, I don't think the Force Hydra head is honestly worth the 2 points there. I mean, it's super minimal. Like, the Hydras have, like, a super low chance. So what spawns the Frozen Orb? Like, the Ice Blades do have quite a good lucky hit chance. Like, Hydras and... Hydras are even okay. Lightning Spears literally don't do anything. But, the Ice Blades really are the best conjuration-wise from the lucky hit. They really, like, do spawn quite a few orbs. No, I felt like it was the same, but also, again, that boss was not very good to judge because you have to move at all the time when playing that boss. So it's really, like, not a good benchmark. I have to have a boss where I can just face tank. Also, probably, like, my weapon is not optimal because I have 2 times double Frozen Orb, and I think it's better to get the Force Tal Rusher stack on your weapon. I just don't have a weapon. But I think that effect is not going to be huge, but I think it's still going to be better to have the Force Tal Rusher stack. Because if you do it on a focus, you can actually crit the affixes. So the advantage there is if you play the chance to cast extra Frozen Orb, you also gotta crit that with Masterworking. But if you only go for the Shadow damage or Poison damage for the Tal Rusher stack, then you can just crit the other stuff like cooldown reduction or crit chance, which, you know, is just way better. But also, like, you know, getting the elemental whatever's thing on your weapon is, like, also, like, such a huge RNG. Like, you're gonna burn through your wands by trying to craft that like crazy. The chances are, like, so terrible. No, I'm not doing it right now because I don't have a wand for that. But I think it will be better. I don't think it will be, like, a very huge difference, but I think it will be better overall to get the 4 stack. What is wrong with these guys? Yeah, it is very hard because it's like a 1 in 6 or 1 in 7 even. It's, like, horrible, that recipe. I think it's 1 in 6 actually. It's physical, 3 elemental, and shadow and poison, right? Yeah. So it's really, really horrible getting that. I mean, I guess the chances are like 1 in 3 actually, which is not that terrible, but, you know, still, you gotta you have an offensive temper and a weapon temper, which are both pretty terrible from the odds. So you're really gonna burn through those wands if you're not lucky. Alright, let's see. It's still like, I feel like it's literally the same, but, you know, really hard to, like, judge. Maybe it's a little bit faster. What did even hit me there? But still, it's... What the hell? Ugh. Yeah, I mean, obviously you get like 2 or 3 more summons. Like, that's normal. That's expected, right? If you have faster attack speed. But the summons are not gonna fix the flame shield issue, right? So, come on, are you serious? Like, wow. This game's killing me. Ah, it's broken. Come on. Oh, this game is so terrible. Also that you cannot freaking repair. Like, I don't get this. Like, why can't you port out and in? It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Anyway, I really don't like this setup. Like, I just feel like it's not significantly better. No, it's always... It has, like, this repair story I have complained so many times. Why they should you just let repair? Like, what is the point of not being able to repair in this dungeon? Then either just make me not lose durability so I can play the goddamn dungeon, or let me port out and freaking repair. Like, it's just terrible game design once again. So... Because, you know, you technically you have to, like, repair before starting every dungeon, because, you know what? Because otherwise you're gonna forget it anyway. Yeah, I mean, that is probably even the best, because the repair really is just annoying and useless. But, you know, that is Blizzard. They will not remove anything they have, because that's their policy, basically. What they made is gotta stay. And you're gonna enforce people using whatever they make, no matter how terrible it is. They have been doing this forever. Yeah, there's really no point. It's just useless. That is... Like, there is really no point. It's just there because it's there. Yeah, you're right. The 6 epics rares were actually super cool. Like, I don't know why, like... But I mean, look, we have like 2 epics rares in D4 now, right? Those are like great. It's exactly as bad as limiting the concurrent amount of ice blades I can have. What's the point? No, I will not play T-balls. Like, it doesn't work with the infinite flame shield anyway, so why would I do that? I mean, we would have to remove Shaco for like another flame shield duration. Or, I mean, if you have the perfect rolls, if you have like 20% cooldown reduction on all of your items, you can probably get away with 1 flame shield duration. And also, before I would be using T-bots, I would be using what's it called, Raymond. So really, that's like basically what it comes down to. Because I feel like Raymond is gonna give me more damage actually. But I don't know if it can actually go to +2. I think you gotta have greater affix Raymond. Not sure. But yeah, I mean, so far it's like so glass cannon-ish, this build. Without the flame shield, it's like a little annoying, I have to say. Like, I still don't like the Sorc meta. I want to have, like, survivability. I really hope they fix that with the expansion. But it is really... It has been going on for so long that you literally have no way of... You know, usually you would play, like, Life Leech or stuff like that. Like, something which is actually being able to sustain damage. But this whole one-shot mechanic style... I don't know. I just don't like it, the system overall. What? I didn't even see... Ah, yeah. Green ground, green... Green ground, green poison breath. Didn't even see that. There is no targeted farming for greater affixes. All legendaries have exactly the same chance to roll greater affix. So no matter where you drop it, doesn't matter. So probably the fastest way is Helltide, I would assume. I think Helltide will drop the most, actually. Oh, this is really getting annoying. I don't like this speed build. It really doesn't work out for me. It just forces me to press more buttons, I feel like, and I really keep dying. I don't even know why. But something with this speed build is wrong. Also, I have no clue if my frozen orb are hitting this girl or not. Oh, wow. I don't know, I mean, maybe it works with Starless Skies, but in this setup, I'm just not doing the damage for this speed. It just feels like so extremely terrible to me. It's like a difference like night and day to the other one. I mean, it's for me, it's like a 50% less multiplier or something like that, just for the couple of extra conjurations. I cannot even verify how many these are. This is not even gonna die anytime soon. Absolutely horrible. But that's exactly the same effect I had before. I was playing this and I was having the higher attack speed. I just felt like my damage is like literally non-existent. Then that's why I switched back. Huh. Could have been Asus, right? But it's garbage. Nah, I just can't deal with this. It's basically 50% less, so it really is quite a bit. But it's also the boss also has like significant HP. But you know, I cannot do damage if I'm like moving. That's my biggest problem there. So I cannot really move. It's not broken, it's just Sorc is just poorly designed, but the things are not even bugged. They're just bad. So yes, they are gonna ignore it. They have been ignoring like Sorc basically since beginning. Like, it has never been in a good state. Like, really, just face it, like, Ball Lightning was the only time where Sorc was in a decent state, and it was a bug. Like literally, you had a skill which was doing, like, I think 20 times the intended damage, and that was actually lifting it towards the other classes, right? So it was doing 20 times the damage, and so we were pretty much even with other classes. Right? And that it was a factor 20. That just to put it into perspective, right? So it wasn't like it's doing double damage or triple damage. It was doing like 20 times the damage. Yeah, but it's really, it's not gonna change. So I mean, you gotta accept the current state. So I'm probably gonna move on after this build. I just want to try like the lightning stuff, and I want to try maybe rebuilding the fire build with crit damage and see how far it actually can go. But I mean, overall, like, you know, pushing into like 80 plus is it's okay. It's just this. I just feel like the state of Sorc is like just terrible, and you gotta accept it. But I feel like also the state of other classes is terrible, because, you know, what it comes down to is them doing like billions of damage, and that is also, I don't know. I don't like the playstyle overall. Like this whole barbarian stuff is like really not interesting for me. I totally like this, exactly this playstyle I like. So I guess it's okay. I mean, you know, I guess it's okay for most of the players anyway, because they're not gonna push into these high tiers. So from like a, you know, 95% of the players' perspective, Sorceress is actually better than all the classes, right? Because you really, like, Sorc is gonna be the best class, period, until you start hitting, like, very high levels. Before that, like, nothing is even gonna come close to the clear speed of Sorceress. Like, nothing is gonna come close to, like, the farming speed of materials, like the teleporting in Helltide. Nothing is gonna even come close to the farming speed in Nightmare Dungeons. Like, not even remotely close, right? So we're really just complaining about the very high tier here, which is literally the problem, and it has been the problem since day one. Except for Bugged Ball Lightning. So as you can see, like, the, you know, after switching, the damage is just so much higher. Like, it's such a difference, like, night and day. Didn't pay attention to that boss. That's why I really cannot deal with this Asus story. It's just, for me, it doesn't work out. But yeah, still, I need permanent. Really annoying that I have to disengage all the time. Ah. Omnipower was the best. Omnipower Chain Lightning was really, really cool. I don't think they're gonna add teleport uniques, honestly. I really don't think they will do that. Wow, how did that stupid clone spawn, right? Where... Like, playing this build without the perma flame shield is really just such a huge pain. And I literally teleported out of this, but this is just so... I cannot deal with these boss fights, man. I really can't deal with it. The vision, I can't... The problem is the vision, I don't really see these clones when they spawn. It's like so ugly. And everything is literally invisible. I cannot deal with all this stuff, eh. Ah, like literally I like absolutely did not see that tornado there at all. I didn't even know how it traveled there. Like the red guy literally spawned like 2 seconds at the other like edge of the map, and all of a sudden like his tornado's right in my face. This literally is the worst. Again, I cannot see that guy because it's like right below the model. I feel like they should really work on these vision issues. Like, that is pissing off like so many players. Like literally, like the guy is there, right? But you cannot see him. They should really work on where these spawn points are. Like, it shouldn't spawn on top of the boss. Like, they should just spawn outside in the arena. Like, I literally can't... I don't know, the guy is somewhere, but I can't see it. Like, he's somewhere there. He's probably going to spawn and kill me very soon. So I have to run away just to clear the vision. That is, like, really, really annoying. Yeah, it's... I don't know. They really have to work on this vision. Like, the ground effects, it's just, like, all too blurry. Like, not sure. Like, it's just bad design and doesn't even look good. I don't even see, like, a reason for designing it that way. Like, I don't know, they want to keep this dark theme, but, you know, what's the point of putting a brown tornado on a brown ground? Like, it doesn't look good, it's just garbage. um, but anyway... What do we have? It just takes so long to farm this materials. It's like just mind-blowing. Yeah, I don't know. They should also make the bosses like invisible when, like, you know, the shadow clone spawns behind the boss. Then they should just make the boss invisible. So, like, you know, yourself, it's also like you have like this green schema. Like, you should also have this for the other ones, so they are at least in vision. Like, I feel like it's a huge issue. But anyway, I'm gonna keep upgrading. So I basically need to upgrade Talrasha ring with cooldown reduction, and then I'm gonna be good enough for this. And maybe I'm gonna risk it and retemper this flame shield duration, but I don't think I'm gonna do that. Alright. Thanks for watching. Have fun building Frozen Orb and being one-shot.